In this week's Filmhouse, we're talking about the fan theories that we love. So stick around. It's going to get deep. Welcome to Filmhouse. I'm your host, Elise Willems. Today I'm joined by Adam Kovic.
Hello.
James Willems.
Hello.
Ryan Haley.
Hello.
Thank you guys for joining me here.
Elise,
today.
what happened to Dan? What did you do to him?
He's out, so we're covering for a little bit. So he won't get to hear about our sponsors this week, Hims and Mac Weldon. Hims, a wellness brand for men. Get started with your first month free by going to forhims.com/filmhouse. And Mac Weldon, a premium men's essentials brand. For 20% off your first order, you can visit macweldon.com and enter promo code FILMHOUSE. We'll hear more from them later in the show. Sorry, Dan, you can't get those deals because you're not here.
No, he can. If he watches and listens, then he can.
Oh, true.
Oh,
okay, he can.
Dan will
can.
never.
So
Too busy
yeah,
watching that Morbius trailer.
we could be talking about the Academy Awards, but we're not. We're talking about the real winners, which are the Redditors.
Yeah, I was gonna say the people
And
who
blogs.
post on Fan Theories Wiki, which I didn't know existed until we were prepping for this.
It's
podcast.
BuzzFeed.fanbase.wiki.
It's IMDb trivia plus Wikipedia.
My personal hell.
I'm a sucker for like conjecture and film conspiracy theory. I think it's really fun.
Well, some of these are proven facts.
Yes, which
What?
is great too.
Just saying, my opinion, but
But sometimes there's something like the Decker is a replicant theory, and then Ridley Scott goes, yeah, it's a pretty good theory. I think it's pretty true. And then they make Blade Runner 2049 and goes, that'd be stupid. He goes, yeah, you're probably right.
Dumbledore is gay. J.K. Rowling affirms, and now it's canon, and there you go.
But was
She's
that a
the
theory?
queen of that.
I'm pretty sure that was. Was it ever a theory that Dumbledore was gay? I'm pretty sure everyone was just like, Dumbledore's an old wizard. And then J.K. Rowling was like, who's gay? And they were like, oh.
Yeah, an old wizard of
okay.
gay.
Yeah, that
I
doesn't
don't know what
really
I'm talking
change the
about.
story
All
in
right,
any way
sure,
whatsoever.
I
It's like-
guess so, sure.
I
but him
don't
and
recall
Riddleballs.
seeing it before she just came out and like it felt like a left field thing where she was like BT Dubs, Dumbledore's gay.
Yeah. Meant to say it, but I didn't.
Yeah. We'll start with one of my faves, which I was hoping would be proven by the new Star Wars trilogy. It was not.
It's been officially disproven because there's like was a novel or whatever or a comic book that told us what happened to Jar Jar Binks.
Well, I mean, they say what happened
He died
after him,
penniless in
but-
the streets or something.
Yeah.
Well, don't get ahead of yourself.
Sorry.
Here. And just a disclaimer before we really get into these, we try to trace the theories back to what we see as the first origin of them. So if we credit someone and you're like, no, this theory was not originated by Tom Bomba Click, it was by Tom Bomba Coo. Like, we are trying our best and we aren't trying to not credit someone.
Well, this one's pretty somewhat recent, right?
Yes, it's about last 5 years.
Yeah.
The
By
theory.
George Lucas.
George Lucas, says not George Lucas.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Case closed.
So this theory is that Jar Jar Binks was a trained Force user, known Sith collaborator, and will play a central role in The Force Awakens. That was wrong.
4 years ago.
Wait.
But the basic idea is that Jar Jar Binks was just kind of playing the sort of coward bumbling act, and that he actually was a mastermind Sith. And a lot of evidence to show,
Yeah, my favorite is when it's just like literally slapstick, the kinds of things Bugs Bunny would do or whatever, or like the kinds of things where people could just not be bothered. Though I know one of the things is when he drops down from the ceiling or whatever, if you notice, he teleports himself. He lands in a different area where he was before. Do you have that clip? There's a thing where he's hanging from a ledge and then he drops down, but if you notice, he moves in the space to a different area, which would indicate that he must have force floated
He force jumped.
his way
This one?
there.
where he's like moving with his hands.
No, it's when they're in the city. But it's literally just they didn't have time
It's just
for that.
yeah, it's like poor animation.
It might be this one. Might
With
be this
the-
guy. Is it this one?
Yeah.
Oh,
Where'd
Where he
come
drops
from?
down. It doesn't make sense in like the landscape of things.
right.
But it's also just because they were like, that's what these movies were. Was they filmed a movie and then afterwards George Lucas just started drawing things on top of it and just filling it with crap.
So this character is an idiot and he needs to sell toys. Dumb kids like him. Make him fall over. And they're like, but George, perhaps he's a Sith Lord. The dummy? The idiot?
So
He's supposed to be reggae.
What I like about this theory is that it's the most unsuspecting of theories. It's a complete 180 to think that this bumbling oaf is actually the mastermind. They claim that Jar Jar and Palpatine co-conspired because when he says, Misa recommend emergency Misa powers for Misa planet, and everyone goes, well done, Jar Jar. And Palpatine's like,
I was going to say,
you're doing great, kid. He goes, thank you.
You know what I like about it, Elise? I like that it tries to somewhat salvage the character.
Yes, I was
like
gonna
the
get to that too.
intentions are good.
Yeah.
It's like someone looked at it and was like, well, instead of him just being a stupid clown, what if the clown had purpose? And so all those stupid things that you're like, why is this stupid idiot doing these dumb, stupid things? You at a certain point, then you're like, oh no, he had an ulterior motive. I think that is a more fun thing than just being like, just completely dismissing something as being dumb. Yeah. It's more fun to think that it had a purpose. It's not though.
It's like he's like Kaiser Soze in Usual Suspects. You know, he's like the guy. He's like right there. You never know that he's playing 7D chess in the background the whole time, manipulating your every move.
Would the Rise of Skywalker been better?
Yes.
If when he goes, I am Palpatine. He goes, and the lightsaber goes through his chest, and he goes, hi, okie dokie. Misa boo boo.
Misa save you when you fall down a shaft. Annie almost had to you.
Well, this statement here, I particularly like. If Jar Jar is putting forth an elaborate act to deceive people, it means he's not a fool. And if he's not a fool, it means his actions in Episode 2 that facilitate Palpatine's plans are not those of an unwitting tool. They are those of a partner.
Sure.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Palpatine and Jar Jar from the same planet, which in the scale of the Star Wars universe is like, I mean, there's just so much, there's so many levels here to this theory.
It's true.
It's so well thought out.
Isn't Queen Amidala and Jar Jar also from the same planet?
They could be co-conspiring.
And is Queen Amidala and Palpatine also from the same planet? Is it maybe perhaps that Star Wars suffers from the big yet small thing? Like, we've created a whole universe where things are happening on one side of the galaxy and another, but most of it happens on Tatooine.
Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker grew up in the same hut. C-3PO, you love Darth Vader made him.
Yep, he got made.
Guess when that comes back to haunt him? Never. Doesn't matter. When he's programming, he goes, and now make sure you don't know Sith. This is an important plot. I love Star Wars. It's great.
It is just fun because it's like you're looking at it going, this makes me, and you're watching him with the dragging droid around, accidentally shooting other things. You're going, this makes me angry. Bad guys.
Well, there's the part where that guy goes, Jar Jar, jump on me. And then he goes, okie dokie. And then he pulls him down. And he goes, Jar Jar, you idiot. It's just, but then he saves the day magically because Anakin accidentally everything's an accident in Episode 1, including when they meet Jar Jar. But I get what you're saying, James, where it's like, it would feel better if it wasn't just a waste of a character and that it's just something like, you never thought of this before. And he goes, oh yeah, I guess if you look at it this way, it kind of makes him redeeming, I guess.
Was it an accident or did the Force pull them together?
I'm unclear. Either the Force is a thing that Luke Skywalker loves or hates. I don't know. The Jedi texts are the most important thing in the world, or they're not. I'm unclear.
Well, we were robbed, is all I can say. Another theory that I think I've seen before, but I particularly like that you brought to the table, Ryan, is the Kevin from Home Alone / Jigsaw theory.
Yes. A true theory. That's right. I brought that to the table.
Christopher Columbus confirmed.
What is this
there's just so much proof. Look at this website. How many
that's
times
a lot
she
of
has
words.
to scroll down.
I also have written a lot of words once on things I didn't understand.
Yeah.
So what's the basis of this one?
So Kevin McAllister, everyone's favorite, America's favorite child booby trap artist. The theory is that he grows up based on all the things we see in the movie, And then based on the Jigsaw movies, that he grows up to become Jigsaw, creating they turn into murder traps at some point in his life. It's unclear.
Well, we know he comes from a rich family, so that would explain all the financee.
And it also explains, like, look at this face, okay? Like, this is the face of a child psychotic sociopathic future murderer. And think about it, we see when Buzz, his brother, eats his pizza, his cheese pizza, his only cheese pizza, he goes
berserk.
He goes berserk. He tries to kill him, all right, basically, in front of the whole family.
Yeah.
It's a violent action, all right?
He's on a razor's edge the whole time.
Then he starts hallucinating the furnace down in the basement. Like, he's having intense hallucinations for a child.
Feed me bodies, Kevin.
Feed me, yes.
There's
exactly.
one particularly interesting point.
Old man Marley, the old man that lives next door.
Slayer.
He thinks that he's this badass serial killer, and he's like, oh, that guy mummified bodies and stuff. That's badass. I would like to do that maybe one day. Okay. Also, I'm rich. I have the funds. Also,
my dad took the whole family to Paris.
Well, his family it's like the perfect. All the people that end up getting punished in Saw, these seemingly normal people that kind of are under the surface, just kind of. Jigsaw wants them to be punished. That's like his whole family is like that. They're all these assholes that have eaten his cheese pizza. His Uncle Frank's just a piece of shit, and he wants to punish those people. He's like, maybe they shouldn't be in prison, but I have the power to go and actually change these people's lives, and I'm going to do it. Did
you get the vibe in Home Alone that he was trying to change the lives of the wet bandits?
I was getting to that. He was trying to. It looks all funny in this Christopher Columbus directed child film, written by John Hughes. But he was trying to kill these people. Look at this. There's a blowtorch pointed at this guy's skull. Yeah. He was making him stand on nails. This kid.
Right.
He wanted to inflict permanent pain on them.
What's more humane, making someone dig through a bunch of syringes or hitting them in the face with a filled up paint can?
I would say they're equally as inhumane.
The paint can is probably the most mundane of all the things that happens to them.
The paint can is the gateway drug to the syringes vault.
Marv does get their symbom burned permanently onto his hand.
Yes, a brand.
Yeah. Really interesting. We've been talking about Home Alone and looking forward to the future of Jigsaw. There's evidence in Saw 2 that suggests, I'm reading it right here.
He hallucinates and he has a furnace.
It suggests that Saw recreates his childhood furnace, which is Kevin's furnace.
Yes, exactly.
So how far in the future does Saw take place? Like 2035 or
no?
Because I mean, look at Macaulay Culkin now. He almost looks like
he looks exactly like
Jigsaw.
the guy. He looks exactly like the guy. I think that if you go to the bottom, maybe there's a
side by side.
Yep. So look at this.
That's
exact doppelganger.
What's his name? Tobin or something?
If only there was some way to figure out how Kevin would look like now as an adult.
Let's look at Kevin.
And look at this: the clown in the basement. The clown in the basement when he's hallucinating the furnace monster comes to life.
I didn't even get that far.
I like this because as you can see here in this example, there is a red circle around something, and that red circle has an arrow pointing to something else, as you can see.
Your Honor, I rest my case.
I don't even know if this is thrown in here. Maybe, can I just throw something else into the pile? Kevin watches pretty violent films on the regular.
That's a good point.
On the regular.
Yeah. That just adds fuel to the fire.
He has a criminal record. He steals from that store. He steals food from that store because he gets spooked.
Befriends Tim Curry.
Yeah,
and more importantly, though, he's very smart. It takes a lot of forethought and manipulation to think of all
do
these.
His own laundry.
Do all this stuff, and then the Jigsaw puzzle stuff.
To add to your point, I would also argue that between Home Alone 1 and 2, although Kevin experienced some very traumatic incidences in the first one, there's no evidence to indicate that he got any kind of therapy or counseling between those two movies.
Well, his family clearly didn't learn anything. They left him again.
Yeah.
In New York.
They sent him away.
And they gave him a credit card this time.
Well, yeah. A talk boy. They
That's
rewarded him.
Neglected, clearly.
That's a great theory.
Where does Saw take place? Chicago?
It feels like a Chicago-ish.
Let's just say Chicago.
Okay. I would just love to go back in time when they're filming the first Saw on like a shoestring budget. It's just these film students are like, got this crazy idea, and then you're the sound guy, and you're like, is this connected to Home Alone? I think the Jigsaw is all grown up.
I just want you guys to know that Danny Glover completed his scenes for the first Saw movie in 2 days. I just want you to know that.
I wonder how much you got paid.
Maybe a little change of pace. We've shared some fan theories that are known around the internet. Adam, you've got a really great original.
Which one is that?
Theory.
From Labyrinth.
Mini. Oh yeah.
So there is a. This is my made up theory. There is a like a BuzzFeed Labyrinth fan theory, and I'm not a big Labyrinth fan. Jess is, and I've seen Labyrinth. I saw it once as a kid and went, that was weird. And ever since, Jess and I have been together 14 years, I've watched the movie at least once a year since we've been together, sometimes twice. So like I know the movie forwards and backwards. Still not really a huge fan. I'm just like, I appreciate it. I love David Bowie, obviously.
You can admit it.
Yeah, it's fine. But I remember being like, because Sarah's just a biatch in the movie, because she's just like, wah, 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 everything sucks. And then she's like, I wish my baby brother would die. And then all of a sudden, sexy Goblin King, she's like, I took the baby. She's like, they're like, what happened?
She's a stressed out babysitter.
There's one theory out there that Jess has sent me. There's like a BuzzFeed one where it's like, it's a cycle that she is like, there's always a Sarah and she always comes back, and that's why Goblin King gets all weird at the end. He's like, I'll do anything for you. I want to love you. Like, choke me, baby. And he says a bunch of weird shit.
Like in Darren Aronofsky's Mother. Exactly. Continue.
Yeah, it's actually very close. Yes. But my theory was that in the beginning of the movie, she kills Toby. She lets him drown in the bathtub.
She murders her brother.
She basically murders him without thinking about it, and that's how he goes to the goblin world. And then she's like, and then I saved him, and she's dancing with all her like fake friends in her room, and the parents come home and go, oh god. Toby either he drowned or he got snuffed out, and I was like, oh, and she goes her happy place, and the final shot's her like in an insane asylum, like bouncing on the walls with all these puppets. It's like, dance, magic, dance.
So this is an idealized hallucination in the mind of
that's how she justified murdering her little stepbrother.
You're gonna hate to hear it. That's a little bit of a Sucker Punch. Comparison, I would say.
What reference to Sucker Punch?
The film Sucker Punch.
Oh, yes.
I've only seen it on mute.
Those girls, they dance in their sexy world, and they have their war sequences and stuff because they're dealing with their trauma.
It's like Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz, yeah, Return to Oz.
Well, there's theories in Sucker Punch. I didn't put it in here, but there are fan theories in Sucker Punch that the only there's no baby doll, and what's the other?
Sweet Pea.
Sweet Pea and Baby Doll are the same character, but Baby Doll is basically like a Tyler Durden that she's created to help protect her while she's in this world, and so it helps her escape.
What would be harder, finding someone to agree with you on that theory, or finding someone who will argue with you on that theory?
Someone who's seen Sucker Punch.
Yeah. Did you know Sweet Pea and Baby Doll?
The last time I mentioned Sucker Punch on this channel was a GTA live stream.
Yeah.
And I was literally outpouring of support on social media that came to me and said, I also don't hate it. And there are literally 4 of us. I counted all the tweets.
Yeah. It's usually easier to just go, well, they talked about some dumb stuff, and I'm just going to ignore them.
I like your theory a lot, Adam.
Oh, thank you. It's fun.
It's a good theory.
Like I said, I've grown to appreciate the movie, especially after watching the Dark Crystal movie, where I went, oh man, Labyrinth's like a way better version of the Dark Crystal movie. I get what they were going for.
Now, this name of this video is Fan Theories We Wish Were True.
I wish that was true.
So well, it does drastically change the Labyrinth and the tone of the film.
In my younger, I don't think Jim Henson was like, so yeah, the kid drowned.
I don't know, he's made some art.
James, any theories that you love?
Yeah, so I'm just going to toss out one right now. I know at least wanted links, but I couldn't find a link. I have written this theory. This is also my theory for Ice Age.
So you got it. Films. You've put it out there in the world somewhere?
Yeah, it was on our old website, but our old website is gone, so I lost it.
Oh, what happened to the GeoCities page?
I think I changed my credit card information so it couldn't charge me every year to renew the domain, so it's gone. Okay. The Ice Age films exist in a reverse timescape.
So it's a post-apocalyptic future that they're in?
Yeah, time travel exists
That's
in
cool.
the Ice Age universe, and each film is traveling backwards in time. So the first film is like a saber-toothed tiger, a woolly mammoth, and a sloth find a human child, like an abandoned human child, and then try and get that child to safety.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The next movie after that is supposed to be the end of the Ice Age. Right?
But it's the beginning of the Ice Age?
But I believe it's the beginning of the Ice Age, and we've gone backwards in time because they also find dinosaurs.
Now, I've never seen an Ice Age movie.
I never have either.
Like,
there's this theory: Ice Age actually takes place in the future.
Okay.
No, that's not what I don't believe that at all. Unless the future is the past.
Okay, sorry, Adam.
They're doing a lot. No, I'm just saying. I've only seen like. What's his name? Scruck's Day Out or whatever. Scrat. I've seen where he's like a minion essentially. Like he doesn't talk, he just makes noises, and it's silly, and the kids all laugh. You okay there?
I was just blowing my nose.
Oh, that's fine. Do your thing. Do the three characters meet each other for the first time in the first movie?
Yes.
Have they never met each other?
Yeah.
So by the last movie, they're already acquainted with one another.
Yeah.
Is there like some kind of weird like reverse amnesia?
No, they're moving forward through time, but in the world of Ice Age, they're moving into the past.
Okay, gotcha. The movies don't take place backwards.
Humans only exist in the first film, and then they're gone for the rest of the films.
Okay, so the Earth is going the other way.
So the Earth is going the other way. It's spinning backwards, but they're still moving forwards.
So the whole world's a time machine?
Basically, the whole world is a time machine.
And
they're
cool.
moving forward, but then the world is moving backwards in time. So all the historical events that took place in our world going forward are happening in reverse. So again, the first one is the Ice Age, and there's human beings there. Okay. The second one is the end of the Ice Age, but I think it's actually the beginning of the Ice Age.
Okay.
Or the equivalent time period where the ice is melting back to how it was before the Ice Age began. The third one, they find dinosaurs.
Right.
So it's like Benjamin Button for the Earth.
Yes. So we've gone from human beings to melting ice to dinosaurs in 3 movies, and then the last one is continental drift, which presupposes the separation of Pangea, but I would argue that it's actually the continents drifting back together.
Interesting.
And colliding.
So is there never another human in any of the other movies?
No.
Really?
No humans ever show up ever again, despite all these other things, and it just doesn't make that much sense that there are human beings somehow before the continents drifted apart.
Okay.
So it only makes sense if you go backwards. The theory is supported because there is a Scrat short where he discovers aliens or something.
I see it right there. He's in the spacesuit right there.
Where is it?
In the bottom right.
Yeah. Yes. Collision course or something. There's a Scrat short.
Is it Scrat in space?
Mm-hmm.
Look, so see, like all this stuff happens. Scrat has been blitzing around through time and space.
He's the constant.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, is there any credence to the theory that it takes place in the Surf's Up universe?
That I am unaware of. It maybe not the Surf's Up proper, but Surf's Up 2 featuring WWE characters.
Now wait a minute though. Aliens could have existed at any time.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Like time is a flat circle, and also
this is one of the many examples. Scrat also at one point is frozen in a block of ice and wakes up in an unrecognizable time period as well. So like, there's the Scrat is the only one he seems crazy, but he's the only one who sees that the world is traveling at a different rate and is forced to deal with all. See, he put the thing on fucking Jupiter. How far back in time do you have to go to put the mark on Jupiter?
Right.
He's literally putting the planets together. Scrat was there for the Big Bang.
Scrat Christ-like figure?
Maybe, maybe Scrat.
So there is the theory that Scrat is Christ.
Yeah, I just haven't written that
I believe that theory.
Yeah. Scrat is there. Scrat created the Big Bang. The only thing that's consistent are those characters, Manny and others.
Well, we're going to get to some more fun theories, but first a word from our sponsor, Mack Weldon.
Mack Weldon believes in smart design, premium fabrics, and simple shopping. You're only a few clicks away from getting a brand new set of underwear. Mack Weldon will be the most comfortable underwear, socks, shirts, undershirts, hoodies, and sweatpants and more that you will ever wear. Trust me, I'm wearing some right now. They have a line of silver underwear and shirts that are naturally antimicrobial, which means they eliminate odor. You might stink, but your underwear won't. They want you to be comfortable, so if you don't like your first pair of underwear, you can keep it, and they will still refund you, no questions asked. Not only does Mack Weldon's underwear, socks, and shirts look good, they perform well too. It's good for working out, going to work, hanging out on the weekends. You could even wear some of these clothes on a date. Now, let me tell you this. I recently tried out a new kind of Mack Weldon underwear called the AirKnit X, and it has changed my underwear lifestyle about as much as underwear lifestyle can be changed. It is a game changer. I am more comfortable. It feels sleek. It feels good. The experience of buying it online was so simple, and it goes perfect because I love my weekenders, as I call them, the Ace sweat shorts, and they just slide right in. I feel like I'm a fish. I can fit in anything. These AirKnit X are fantastic. Take care of your underwear. Take care of yourself. It's the same thing. Plus, if you don't like your first pair, you can keep it, and they will still refund you, no questions asked. So, for 20% off your first order, visit MackWeldon.com and enter promo code FILMHOUSE, that's H-A-U-S, MackWeldon.com and enter promo code FILMHOUSE. You will not regret it.
Thank you, Mack Weldon, for your sponsorship. And now this theory, I just like because I think it's funny. And I don't know that it doesn't feel that realistic. Like could be a plausible theory, but it's just fun. It's that the Mr. Ink kids from Scooby-Doo are draft dodgers on the show because they're always in their mystery van traveling, and you're like, where are they going? Like, what are they doing? They're always on the road. It's because they're trying to get to Canada. It's 1969. The Vietnam War is at its height. The mighty Heptagon posted this, and so they are all trying to get out of being drafted to Vietnam.
Don't you hate it when you have shin splints?
So Shaggy's a hippie, so of course he doesn't want to go.
I mean, Fred's kind of
you would think
he's like a frat house boy.
Well,
but maybe he's also a coward.
He would enlist immediately.
I don't know. Maybe he's a coward.
Brave one.
Well, when he's got a piece like Daphne.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's a clean-cut suburban kid. He's never gotten his hands dirty. Okay.
I ain't dying for no oil man.
He probably went and said, "Daphne, will you wait for me?" And she's like, "Nah." No. And then he was like, "Oh, all right. Well, I'm not gonna go."
You want to dissolve mysteries or some bullshit because my friend owns a van.
It does say here his number came up. He decided to leave Daphne. He didn't want to go to Vietnam because he couldn't bear to be apart from her. Velma, the anti-war activist, that makes a lot of sense.
Oh yeah.
The haircut.
Come on.
Come on.
Feminist.
It would only be made better if the theory said that Scooby was like their collective guilt, like represented that or something.
Then what's Scrappy?
I don't know.
Scrappy is the child that Daphne aborted.
Oh,
And what about Scooby? What are his views on the war?
He's not included in here. But that's what I was saying is it could only be elevated if it did give Scooby some part of this. Like he was the,
right.
Do you think there's any manifestations in this? Like, they think that they're solving these mysteries, but they're actually just going on to generally, it does seem like most of the time the people there are like, older generation, like that they're just really sticking it to.
It's always like, you kids, if it wasn't for you.
Kids or whatever. But that's just there in their mind. That's just the generational fight that they're having.
Like every time they collectively beat up on a drifter and take his money, they're like, they smoke out, do some acid, and then they're like, time to solve another mystery.
Well, all of the people that are disguised as monsters are the people that they've stolen their IDs. Because they need them to get over the border.
That makes sense. Yeah. So they keep trying to find people who look like them? Sorry, Ryan.
Alternatively, like you said, you're saying they're draft dodgers. What if this is kind of, they feel guilty about it kind of, and this is, while all their friends are over fighting in Nam, they're like, we have our own service, our calling. We got to fight these fucking ghosts that are everywhere and prove that, you know what I mean?
They never really, I think there had to have been, it's been around
here
for
in the
85
mainland.
Years. They've actually found actual ghosts before, right? I mean, they met Batman.
They and vampires and werewolves.
Okay.
They got to a certain point.
They've been to a ghoul school. They've met the Boo Brothers. WWE. They've done it all.
Mr. T.
That's my theory. My theory that I'm going to throw in right now is that the WWE universe exists in all other creative universes.
Star Wars.
You need only look for them.
Children of Men.
Yeah.
Okay. I like it.
That's a good one.
I enjoy that one.
That's fun.
Ryan, you've got another one It's also an animated. A lot of these are like always around like animated or kids movies that I feel like leave things open.
Explain yourself with this one, please. I'm reading the
all
headline.
about kind-hearted things going bad.
The Wall-E.
Okay, so
theory.
artificial intelligence. It's gonna kill us all one day, right?
Sure.
I'm very worried about it. All right, legitimately, genuinely, I'm scared. It's a ticking time bomb we're sitting on. Okay, Pandora's box to the extreme. So we got Wall-E here. Climate change. In the movie, they say, oh, climate change, all this bad stuff was happening, so we designed, and we had all this consumer shit. We have too much of it, so we had to get it off, and then we have all these robot compacting robots that are supposed to be around compacting our trash. Wall-E's the only robot in that we see on Earth, right? It's supposed to be like, oh, he's the last one? Well, what if, alternatively, he killed all the other robots? He's a robot serial killer, a robot murderer that basically is the smartest robot, the most evil. And this is kind of about the nature of evil, the nature of consciousness and stuff, because, the reason that this is even this movie, in my opinion, kind of like you were saying about, or one of these theories was about how like the whole movie is this idealized utopia. I think that we're seeing the movie from Wall-E's perspective. Okay, so human beings are all these just fluffy, cuddly, fat people that are just like like, oh, look at these cuddly like cartoon people. Well, if you remember, Fred Willard, a real human being, is in this movie. All right, not animated. All right, so I think that we got a Matrix situation kind of where the real life is the Fred Willard. He's in the real world.
Yeah.
And then but we see from Wall-E's perspective, ooh, colors, Pixar movie land,
is that something that he's doing? Like in his AI brain, where he does actually come in contact with human beings, but then in his AI brain he transforms them to look like nonsense.
Yes, that's what I think. But then on top of that, and I think Fred Willard maybe was his programmer, so maybe that's why he sees him in reality or something. Okay. But also, I think it comes back to what does Wall-E think he's doing? Does he think he's evil? Or is he just surviving
just
like
operating
Hal?
To code.
In 9000 and 2001. So and I think it's the second one. It's like he basically was programmed, to maximize his own happiness or whatever, or to help human beings or to do something, and that involved killing everyone else. That's what the whole artificial intelligence thing is. It's not like the robots are going to hate us. It's like someone's going to program it. Look, help humans, and then they think, everyone will be happier if they're all dead.
Here's my
and then
favorite.
They vaporize us all, and we're dead.
Here's my favorite excerpt from Mr. Banana's post about this. He takes the trends off of I think he means treads. He takes the treads off of a fallen comrade without a second thought. He hoards the parts of his dead brothers in his trailer, along with all his precious trinkets that he had to protect from all the other Wall-E units. The reason why there is still so much trash on Earth, despite 700 years of compacting, is because all the other compactors were killed early on, and thus for 700 years only one unit has been working.
There's a lot of compacted trash, though. Like the opening of the movie is just.
It took them a while to kill those robots.
It's just miles and miles and miles and miles.
It took a little bit.
Skyscraper.
Maybe they teamed up and then Wall-E turned on the other one.
I
helped him.
I've seen Wall-E once. I loved it. I actually, this has come up where I'm like, I should rewatch it. I don't recall any part of Wall-E being intimidating or like how could he kill anything?
You're a robot. You can manipulate other things. He has battery stuff. He can like hack into another computer, reprogram the computer.
It's not a short circuit situation at any point where they go, he bumps into something, his eyes turn red, and he starts firing lasers, right?
No, yeah. Well, the short circuit robot was designed. Johnny 5 was designed for war.
That's what I'm saying, though. And then, but everything he does.
Wouldn't that be the perfect cover? Wouldn't that be the perfect cover?
Exactly. It's just like what was the Jar Jar Binks?
I guess he could choke you out.
He's not attracted to Eva. He sees the destructive potential of acquiring her technology. Is what you're saying?
Yes, he is definitely seduced by her. But I also think he might have been programmed to love, and then but then his love ends in killing, which is also a whole other thing is about Fred Willard's character, because really at the end of the day what I'm really scared about is less in real life is less the robots, and it's these fucking psychopaths in their basements programming them to just come and kill everyone.
Well, but Fred Willard in the world was established as the CEO of by and large. right?
Right.
The global CEO, yes.
Yeah, he's the global CEO of by and large. So he's not just an inventor. He's like the Jeff Bezos. So you're saying Jeff Bezos is designing an Alexa in his basement that's going to kill us all?
Not necessarily. This is more just the broader artificial intelligence being scared of it argument and stuff about why I'm scared of it.
I honestly, I think I had this thought just the other day as well, Ryan, because AI will eventually outpace us once we open the quantum computing Pandora's box. I think AI will look at us and think of us as such a non-threat because they can outlive us. They're like, well, as long as we have sun and we can just live in the cloud or whatever, like they'll look at us like cows. The way we look at cows, we're like,
we kill cows and eat them.
I mean, they'll when they need us, but they're like, for the most part, we'll just ignore you. We don't need you.
No, they'll look at us like ants.
No, it's gonna
crush
be like,
us by the millions.
It's gonna be like
they'll
in
leave
the
us alone for the
movie.
most
It's gonna
part.
be like in the movie I, Robot, where they put us all in shipping containers to protect us. Because the most dangerous aspect of humanity is humanity itself.
Is that the same plot point of 2012? They put people in shipping containers because the world's going to flood?
No, that's not the same plot point.
I think it is.
No.
Yeah.
2012 is they create these giant, beautiful ships
Like arcs.
of the people that can afford to get tickets.
Yeah.
So all the rich people can survive.
Which makes
It's not
absolutely
shipping
no
containers.
sense.
Why? They're boats.
Why not?
I mean, money would not really... What?
No, you buy.
what-
They financed the endeavor.
Oh, I
Their
see.
ticket
Gotcha.
paid for the technology that
Okay.
allowed them to survive.
I thought there was a company's like, pay us now, so when the world's over,
No.
we're going to be rich.
No,
It's
it
like-
was basically like a giant Kickstarter for these things, but you had
And
to buy in.
So
and
included the smartest, the sexiest, the most perfect people in John
Well,
Cusack.
the richest people on the planet, CEOs, models, robot designers, and that's
Okay.
it.
Adam, what other theories do you like?
I like the one that, I'm not even sure it's a fan theory anymore, but the Total Recall one, spoiler, that most of what happens to Douglas Quaid is not happening. And there's like a few parts that kind of support this. There's the part where they give him an out, where they're like, just take these pills and you'll leave. And then he sees the guy sweating and goes, yeah, fuck you, and then shoots him in the head. And then from there, it becomes like this crazy action movie. And it just sort of kind of becomes insane. But the thing that the giveaway is that at the very end it flashes white, which is just a transition you use in film editing, much more common today, or you could be used. But the idea is that I think maybe Verhoeven even said it at some point, but I've read this a few times where that's supposed to be him getting a lobotomy. It signifies the lobotomy that he's getting at the end because he's just this brain dead thing. I was like, that does kind of have a Philip K. Dick more-ish vibe than saying, well, we're going to take the idea that this guy wrote and then just make it this crazy action movie. It almost justifies it being an action movie by having that difference in the ending. But yeah, I don't know. They did the same thing in Inception, where they go, Maud or whatever is like, she's like, none of this is real. You think people chasing you around the world, they just show up out of nowhere and you go, oh man, that gives me a different outlook on the movie. But they do the same thing in Total Recall. Like, are you serious? Like, you shoot a bunch of people and you don't get hit by bullets.
The best thing about
Total
Total Recall is that the whole setup of the movie is he's like, man, I lead such a boring life. If only I could go on an adventure. And they're like, all right, well, let's go through the whole subject matter of picking your adventure. Where do you want to go? Mars. What do you want to be? A secret spot. Like he clicks all the boxes for the things he wants his fantasy to be, and then he gets shot with it. And then all of a sudden, everything that he wanted is also true. Right. That's what makes it an awesome movie and an awesome story. Well, but it also blends to the theory.
But yeah, but the movie is basically saying, well, you were just picking the things you already knew you had or that you wanted. It wasn't him being like, he's like, I'm dreaming of this brunette woman. Yeah. Even though he's got Sharon Stone waiting at home in the sexy 80s workout gear, but
tie me up.
Yeah. And then he looks at the monitor and goes,
The only thing with that theory is explain to me how. This is a whole thing too, could be devolved into a theory. How someone like Arnold Schwarzenegger exists as a normal person in any of these worlds. Like, it's like him.
Douglas Quaid, you mean?
Yeah.
Just American guy Douglas Quaid?
Just normal guy. I walk
Quaid, but it's Quaid and he's 240 pounds, like completely
construction
worker. And my good pal Bob. Yeah, have you met Bob? He's overweight.
Hey, best bud.
Yeah, we get beers together.
His ultra beautiful wife, but then it's like it all sort of makes sense when she's like, oh, she's a spy, and Michael Ironside's chasing you, and he's awesome.
Actually Hausa.
Yeah, Hausa.
Well, the boring one, I think it's a fun theory, but yeah, some people in the comments are saying that the director disproved this. Is it Paul Verhoeven?
Yeah. Maybe he said it didn't. It's not that.
What does he know? Death of the author, all the way.
But other people are arguing against that. I don't know. Yeah,
we'll see. You argue with the director.
Death of the author.
I mean, like I said in the beginning of the episode, there was a time I think when Ridley Scott was saying like, the Decker's replicant thing there's some truth to that, and then it's like, but that kind of diminishes the movie.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Schwarzenegger, totally.
If you do get a chance though, you should check out Total Recall, the director's commentary with
Paul
Arnold.
Verhoeven?
It's Paul Verhoeven, Arnold Schwarzenegger, where we've talked about this on other film houses in the past, but you basically just get to hear Arnold narrate the movie for you. He's basically doing commentary for a blind person. He's like, all right, right here you can see I see that he's lying, so I shot him. Okay, thank you, right there. And he was like, and then I pulled the thing out of my nose. Like he does in the very beginning with the TriStar logo. He goes, all right, here we are. Comes the horse, the Pegasus, and he flies through the screen and goes, and I'm Paul Verhoeven.
I would love to hear that, actually. Paul Verhoeven's hilarious.
There's a
He's
super
so funny.
There's a super cut online of just Arnold. He does that for like all his. He didn't really understand what commentary was.
Right.
Just keep talking is what commentary.
Yeah. Well, the movie's 2 hours long. If you can just talk over the whole thing, that'd be great.
James, any other theories from you?
Yeah, I always really like the Tarantino double universe, which is that the Tarantino films are divided into the real universe and then the Tarantino cinematic universe.
Yeah,
so Kill Bill is a movie that exists in the world that Pulp Fiction is in. So like there's a bunch of they kind of divide them on different things, but like
can we guess which ones are which?
Sure, yeah. Well, there's one that's a catalyst for everything else, but yeah.
Okay. I mean, Reservoir Dogs, I think, is in the base reality.
Yeah, I think that's kind of assumed. Yeah.
Inglourious Bastards is
real life. That's probably the real universe.
I would say yes. I would say that's in the real universe.
Death Proof is probably a movie that they all went and saw.
That
probably
would make sense.
It's like a Grindhouse movie.
Once Upon a Time.
Well, but the thing,
in
there's
Hollywood.
a catalyst for it. The reason that all of this is, do you know the reason all of this is goes
yes,
on?
Yes, I've heard of this. It's because Hitler got killed in Inglourious Bastards in a movie theater, and that got everyone pumped about movies.
So movies became this fucking American patriotism was tied to a love of the movies because Hitler got his ass blasted in a movie theater.
Oh, gotcha.
In Inglourious Bastards
is
so that's where everything shifted,
right?
And so that's why in Pulp Fiction everyone knows all about movies and movie fans and stuff like that. The only one is that True Romance seems like it would be a movie, but True Romance is also a movie that's obsessed with movies too.
Yeah. It seems like that would be pretty base reality for me.
Could be. I don't know.
If Reservoir Dogs though is a in-universe thing, there is a character.
The Vega brothers.
There's the Vega brothers. Well, what's her name? Patricia Arquette's character is I believe she's mentioned Alabama. I think she's mentioned in Reservoir Dogs. Could be wrong.
She is. Yeah, in The Office with Michael Madsen there. So that means base reality.
Elise has a breakdown.
Jackie Brown.
Jackie
movie?
Brown seems like a movie. I thought
Jackie Brown
would be a movie.
The movies in the movie universe. So Natural Born Killers, From Dusk Till Dawn, and Kill Bill are movies.
Yeah.
What about Death Proof? That's real.
Characters from the movie universe cannot appear in the films realer than real. For example, the bride from Kill Bill could not show up in Death Proof. I feel like Death Proof would definitely be a movie.
Well, there's the theory that the Kill Bill is the pilot for Fox Force 5 or whatever. Because there's the Fox Force 5 in Pulp
Uma
Fiction.
Thurman. Oh wait, so Uma Thurman's the same person?
No, because she talks about how in Pulp Fiction that she was in a pilot for Fox Force 5.
Right. And Kill Bill is a pilot for Fox Force 5 that she starred in?
That's the part of the theory.
She was supposed to just have a bit part in Fox Force 5.
Right.
Wasn't she one of the foxes?
She makes a pun or something.
Maybe you're right.
I think she's one of the 5 foxes. And then she describes I think she describes them.
Yeah.
I just think it's fun to think about a universe that is splintered because of itself.
The team besides Mia Wallace's character had 4 other women. The team's leader, a Japanese kung fu master, a black girl, the demolition expert, and a French girl whose specialty was sex. So Sophie in Kill Bill is the French girl. Demolition expert is Vera. What's her name?
I wouldn't worry about it.
Shit, no, I know. I mean,
it's fine.
It's just because you're under Vernita Green, and then Orenishi would be the kung fu master.
Okay. Man. It's all
kung fu? Why would a half Chinese, half Japanese person need to learn kung fu?
Remember when Kill Bill had anime in it? That was
I just thought that's a fun one. I think it's fun to think that it splits. I guess it does put Death Proof in the realer than real world universe. That doesn't make sense to me.
I guess, and Hateful Eight though too. It's like
I don't know.
I guess because Death Proof, they are, if it's real life, it makes sense because they are in the movie. The second group of people are making a movie. So I guess that makes Zoe Bell a real person. I don't know. I'm so confused. It hurts my brain.
Yeah.
This is a really fun theory, though.
So when he eventually gets to make his Star Trek movie, where will that land in the Tarantino universe?
I don't know. I also like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood comes on and adds to the fervor of movie lovers because there was this cult. Like, obviously, it's hindsight, but in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where an actor and his stuntman stop a cult from going on a murdering spree in Hollywood. That's like, now that's just more fuel on the fire of how much America fucking loves.
But actually,
like Hollywood.
Well, no one will know about that. That's like the bittersweetness of the ending.
Because there was no, it was just a break-in. But it's still like this actor. There's a break-in at this actor who plays a Hollywood tough guy who then killed a dude with a flamethrower.
It'll be in the tabloids.
Even the minutia of like this note here, Christoph Waltz's character in Django Unchained is called Dr. King Schultz, whose wife's name is Paula. In Kill Bill Volume 2, the bride is buried in a grave belonging to a certain Paula Schultz. Remember, that's the, this is the name of the grave. Yeah. Dated 1823 to 1853, which puts her right in the time frame to be Dr. Schultz's wife. But like, the fact that Kill Bill is a movie and a movie complicates this somewhat. I think it's just incredibly interesting because there are few directors like Tarantino that are auteurs that could even build this kind of universe for themselves, and that movies are good enough that they can keep making them and have autonomy to build something like this and do whatever they want.
I like it too because it's not necessarily, as just from the writing perspective, it's not necessarily about always having new ideas. Sometimes it's just like, I always had this name, Paula Schultz. Like, that's the Schultz. Schultz is a name. He wrote it down in a notebook 25 years ago, and anytime he needs a name, he goes Schultz.
You can retroactively make these connections too. Like, it's the kind of thing where he can make Kill Bill, call her grave Paula Schultz, and then be making Django Unchained and go, it'd be really fun. I just make this
Schultz.
Paula Schultz. Why not? People lose their minds.
Yeah, it's like how I name every character Derek.
Yes.
Because Derek
you
is
got
a
the
funny
Derek
name.
verse.
That's just because you're so creative.
Yeah.
I can totally see Tarantino, though, like, going Easter egg crazy when he's writing. He's like, "Oh, okay, what's my name from True Romance? I gotta make this the cousin of this character."
I can't remember the names of people I met today.
Well, if you made them up, though, imagine if you could just make up as many names as you wanted.
Right. There's a list somewhere in his house of just, I don't know.
We're gonna get to a couple more, but first, a word from our sponsor, Hims.
All right, let's be honest. I'm getting a little older. People around you, people you know, are getting a little older. Maybe you're getting a little older, and maybe you're starting to notice that your hairline is beginning to slip. Maybe your hair isn't as thick and luxurious as it used to. Well, there is a solution, and it is only a few clicks away. You've heard us talk about Hims and how they are helping guys look their best. If you haven't yet, it's time to see what they're all about. 66% of men start to lose their hair by age 35. Once you've noticed thinning hair, it can be too late. Is that hairline slowly starting to move backwards? The best way to prevent more hair loss is to do something about it while you still have some. Grab the new year by the follicles and embrace a year of personal growth. Literally. The solution is forhims.com, a one-stop shop for hair loss, skincare, sexual wellness for men. It's time to write a new chapter, one that involves a luxurious head of hair. Thanks to science, baldness can be optional. Hims is helping guys be the best version of themselves with licensed physicians and FDA-approved products to help treat hair loss. That means no snake oil pills or gas station counter supplements. These are prescription solutions backed by science. No more awkward in-person doctor's visits or long pharmacy lines because 4Hims connects you to real doctors online, which could save you hours. Plus, it's completely confidential and discreet. If you have a great relationship with your doctor, feel free to use it, but then take your prescription to Hims, where you can get the product for less money more conveniently. Just answer a few quick questions and a doctor will review, and if they determine it's right for you, they can prescribe you medication to treat hair loss that is shipped directly to your door. So dive into 2020 hair first. Right now, our listeners can get started with their first month free. Go to 4hims.com/filmhouse. That's 4hims.com/filmhouse. Prescription requires an online consultation with a physician who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Offer valid only if prescribed. 3-month minimum subscription. Additional restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. And don't forget, that's 4hims.com/filmhouse.
Thank you, Hims, for your sponsorship. I'm just going to go through one of mine really, really quickly because I think it's a fun one.
I also have one more very, very short one.
So this is just that Jesus Christ was an engineer from Prometheus.
Okay. I believe it.
This dude Cavalorn, he went into a whole whole thing about it, and it's very deep. But the basic premise is that the engineers were like, let's send someone down to kind of deal with this. And Ridley Scott, as he puts it, this is just, I'll just read you the Scotty Riddles quote here. If you look at it as an our children are misbehaving down there scenario, there are moments where it looks like we've gone out of control, running around with armor and skirts, which would of course be the Roman Empire. And they were given a long run, 1,000 years before their disintegration actually started to happen. And you can say, let's send down one of our emissaries to see if he can stop it. Guess what? They crucified him. Wow. So the idea is that, Jesus was an engineer, and
it would only make sense
if
there's an image out there of a big white dude, completely, hair-free, and just weird mounds of muscle, and he's just like, damn it.
Well, everyone always says that all imagery of Jesus is wrong, so.
Can you pull up an image of those engineers? I love looking at those guys.
I love it, too. I think it's great design.
Speaking of which, those engineers show up in a little bit of Blade Runner 2049.
That's why I was so frustrated with Prometheus, is because some of the concept art and visualization of the movie is so good, and it's all just bad.
I liked it, kind of.
You liked how the geologist got lost and how the biologist tried to touch something?
I don't remember that.
Yes, look at that.
And there's 2 of them, right?
He looks like Urian from Street Fighter. Right?
Do they know how to speak English?
How did Jesus
come and talk?
Do you think Jesus spoke English?
Because he grabs.
Good point.
Hello, friends.
He grabs what's his face's. No, but he grabs what's his face's head there, exactly in that scene, and he goes, rah, 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 and then they don't put subtitles because it's clever, and then he rips his head off and throws him away.
So does that mean though that there was an engineer that came down and learned how to speak whatever
No, they speak whatever. Oh, you mean I guess so.
Sumerian or whatever.
I mean, because Jesus was, he was going out talking to the people. He was he was out, telling stories and stuff. Well, how does this guy, one of these engineers, do that?
Well, you know how Jesus is considered a God and a man. That's
I've heard of this.
Him special. That theory of that. Well, maybe an engineer came down and then jerked off onto Mary, and then it went into her like it did when he jerked off into that waterfall.
That is offensive, James.
And then he got it on her, and then so she got pregnant, but she didn't realize because she was sleeping.
James, please.
Sorry.
Well, I'm into it, man. Yeah, no, there's a lot I like about Prometheus. Most of it's set design and thinking what could have been, but man, that could have been a cool opening scene where it's like, I'm here to save you, and bah! And they're crucifying this engineer. I'd pay the $13 to see that.
Well, that's the other thing. Aren't they very strong and
Oh yeah, he rips his head off.
Yeah, so I think it'd be hard to nail that guy down.
Man, they shot this whole opening scene in Iceland. And
so cool.
I mean,
so cool.
I remember going into the theater and just being like, I'm into this. This is so cool.
I'm so into it.
They're trying to find the beginning of man, and they want to find it, and then it just after the first, 45 minutes, and it just kind of falls apart.
Quick story, we had gotten a deal where we pre-bought the Blu-ray of Prometheus with I think we got 2 free movie tickets with it or something.
Yeah.
And so I was really nervous because I'm like, you usually don't buy the Blu-ray before you see the movie. But we did this. And then this scene was happening, and I was good. I made the right decision. We made the right decision. And then later in the movie, I was like looking at James like, oh no, he got this Blu-ray.
But this being the idea that he drinks the goo, and this is what ends up giving
the blood of Christ.
He is the primordial ooze that eventually spawns humanity. Like I love it. It says all this without saying it.
It's great lore.
Until you look up any science about it,
right?
And you see that the DNA in us is also linked to the grass and shit that's already there, and it doesn't make any sense.
This right here is Ridley Scott. Later in the movie, he goes full Scotty Riddles, though.
I didn't see what's that new Covenant. I heard it somehow got worse.
I tried to watch
movie,
it. I couldn't do it.
Man,
I got real bored.
Yeah, Prometheus makes me sad.
I like that theory.
It's what could have been.
Yeah,
I
like it.
Theory.
I'll take it.
A lot of questions. I'll tell you this: Prometheus is a lot of questions.
Anyone else have any quick theories they want to jump into?
I have a very, very quick one.
All right.
Let's hear it.
In the movie The Tuxedo, starring Jackie Chan, the tuxedo doesn't work. He's actually just that good.
Is this a personal theory?
I've never seen the film, but for some reason when Adam was talking earlier, I thought about it. When you were talking about Total Recall, I thought about it. And I'm entering this into my hall of fan theories.
Okay.
But the film Tuxedo, it's a super-powered tuxedo that allows you to do incredible things, and this regular guy accidentally wears it. And look, it makes him do wacky stuff.
Right.
I have a theory that the tuxedo prototype never actually worked. He just believed
tuxedo.
it worked, and so he was able to do all these incredible things. And this tuxedo had nothing to do with it.
It's like being hypnotized or something.
Okay, also, so he has some sort of spider power.
It's all in him. He's capable of doing. He's capable of winning over Jennifer Love Hewitt all on his own.
Okay.
So that's my very short theory.
I love that theory, honestly. That makes this movie way better.
Yes, I think you're right.
I'm okay with the tuxedo existing only as a movie trailer because it's so good. I will never see this movie.
You're running so fast. See, he just thinks he can.
You guys
He's
are all wrong,
but he believes when he believes he can do it.
That's a great theory.
Yeah,
that's great.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm into it. You know what?
Credit me. That's mine. That's my theory.
The James Willem theory of tuxedo.
See, he beats up James Brown.
Yeah. It's like, you murdered James Brown. It's like, no, the tuxedo did it. No, it didn't. Well, I'll take two.
Can you imagine looking back and thinking someone said we should cast Jennifer Love Hewitt and Jackie Chan opposite each other?
Yes.
What a world.
I can see it right now.
I love it.
Mm-hmm. She's not
We
closeted
should watch
racist.
this. I've seen it, I think.
You've seen this movie?
That's the best review I can give it. I've seen it, I think.
Yeah, it was that or Master of Disguise? I'm not sure. Or Rocket Man. Well,
Jackie Chan.
He's back.
Summer Home.
If I ever meet Jackie Chan, that's what I'm going to ask him. Hey, there's like a Space Jam thing going on with that? Like maybe the suit didn't really work.
Pro China. He just shouts in your face. Karate chops you in the neck and you go down.
Ryan and Adam, any other theories you guys want to shout out?
I would say, I think everyone knows the Aladdin one takes place in a dystopian future. And then the other one that's worth looking into, makes no sense, is Ferris Bueller Isn't Real.
That's a fun one. He's just a figment of Cameron's imagination because Cameron's dealing with his own issues, right? Yeah.
Jenny lied to Forrest. Didn't that kid's not his. She was just like, God, I'm dying, and I remember that guy Forrest. I think he's a billionaire now.
Yeah, let's see. Oh, he's rich.
Yeah, let me give my kid to him.
Take my AIDS kid. You can afford
my AIDS kid.
Yeah, the AZT for him. He can cure him.
Yeah, so you think like Jenny knew she was dying. She's like, I need my child to be supported. Forrest has money. He's a good man. He won't let anything happen to him. So.
They kind of, honestly, they hint at it in the movie. There's evidence number one. Forrest Jr. is very smart. Forrest is stupid.
Case closed.
Not exactly how it works, but
That's it.
The only thing, all you needed was the one scene where he goes, Jenny, you slept with a lot of people and took a lot of dick. And you're saying that's mine? And she looks like a little off. She goes, yes.
He goes, would I lie to you, Forrest? And he goes, and she goes, I wouldn't. And then she goes, pro China. Forrest goes down. She's gone. She's gone with a grave and then a kid.
We couldn't find the body. She had a plane ticket to Shanghai.
Well, before we close out, if you like watching fun shows and things, check out this short teaser from our friends at Achievement Hunter. They have a new ghost hunting show called Haunter. There's a new season coming, and here's a little quick tease right here.
What's up, ghost? You got something to say for yourself? Did you see that? What the hell? You are joking. Show yourself! Ah! Are you ready? Ah!
Do you know how much ghostly evil we may have just awakened?
Whoa, I'd like to try ghost shunting.
I have a theory that Achievement Hunter's all dead. The ghosts are actually the people that have a YouTube channel, and that they're the ones haunting them.
And they're all draft dodgers.
Yeah.
Iran. I was trying to get out of it.
Okay, well, thank you, Ryan, for that astute observation. Thank you guys for being here. We'll see you all next week.
Bye.
Is it Timothée Chalamet? He's got an accent aigu over the E at the end of his name.
We all have an accent aigu somewhere in our lives.
Well, I have high hopes for Timothée Chalamet.
Henceforth on Filmhouse, he shall be known as Timothée Chalamet.
So with